spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of meager means. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dreams. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't really. It ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun. It's an everyday thing. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not Haram or beef.
mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z.
Once again, this broadcast is brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z, where reading funds the mental. Also brought to you by mindedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Be sure to check out Mayat Son's Tea of Teas, Divinely Prepared. Get yours at herbsofmayat.com. Don't be shy. Go and check out those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Bay at bhbaymusic.com for your everyday items and religious regalia. Check out morrishaberdasher.com. And for that especial everyday Morris drip, be sure to check out morsachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. And without further ado, we'll get right into our BBT aims. So, scientific study will illuminate the student that Yahweh, our Elohim, the creator of the stellar and ecclesiastical universe, has stipulated in all Bibles, regardless of the translation, a pattern that he, Yahweh Elohim, gave Moses in Mount Sinai in the year 1490, BBY, erroneously referred to as BC. It is by a profound knowledge of the construction and operation of this divine pattern of the Mosaic tabernacle in relationship to every created object in the universe, whether visible or invisible, that will reveal the answer to every question concerning Yahweh Elohim and Yahshua the Messiah as he really is and his eternal purpose and plan. The Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School is not a church, but a school of research founded with the idea in mind to delve into every branch of science according to the pattern of the tabernacle, man made in the image of God, Allah, which is an acronym in Moore science for arm, leg, arm, head, to find the answer to every question that has plagued the student from the foundation of the world, thus proving the unerring accuracy and infallibility of the Bible. In research and study, we always use the true Hebrew names of the unity of the spirit of the so-called Godhead. Instead of the title God as the Father's name, we are using the correct Hebrew name, Yahweh. Instead of Jesus Christ as the Word's name, as the Son as the Word or Son's name, we are using Elohim, which is the correct Hebrew title of the Father, Yahweh, in super and corporal form. For the Holy Spirit, which is Yahweh Elohim, manifested in a physical body, we are using the correct Hebrew name, Yahshua the Messiah. These holy names may seem to be of private interpretation, which we, the Burning Bush Tabernacle, have invented, but through research and study with a good encyclopedia or dictionary, anyone can discover for themselves of this great error. There was no letter J in any language until the Middle Ages. Neither was there ever a letter equivalent to the J in the Hebrew language. Therefore, such names as Jesus or Jehovah are impossible renderings of the true name of the Father and Son. Here at the BBT, our aims are as follows. One, to illuminate the student to find and know Yahweh, our Elohim, as he really is and exists. Two, to form a nucleus of universal brotherhood of humanity in Yahshua the Messiah, without distinction of race or nationality, creed, sex, caste, or color. Three, to investigate the unexplained spirit law, or so-called law of nature, and the powers latent in man. Four, to encourage and promote the study of the scriptures, comparative religions, psychology, philosophy, and modern, practical, and occult sciences. Five, to remove spookism, superstition, skepticism, and ignorance. Six, to learn, know, and understand the operation of Yahweh's eternal purpose through the dispensations and ages. Seven, to discern and avoid being deceived by Lucifer, the serpent, the devil, the dragon, or Satan, and his demons, operating the mystery of iniquity on earth through the dispensations of time. Eight, to earnestly contend for the common salvation and faith which was once delivered to the sons or children of Yahweh. 9, to make known that Yahweh, from the beginning, ordained there is no other name given among men whereby man can be saved, saving the name Yahshua the Messiah. And last but not least, 10, to make known that Yahweh from the beginning ordained, 10, to inherit eternal life, now in the kingdom of Yahshua the Messiah, without the hope of immortal glorification, with the hope of immortal glorification in the new earth state. And with that, I say Islam, amen, and peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 peace. Peace and love, nobles.
Peace and love, man. Peace and love. So before we do get started, we will begin with our Moorish American prayer. So without further ado, Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Shalom Aleichem, Ayah Asha'ayah, Hotep, Islam, amen. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, 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 peace.
Peace and love.
So for today in the Adept class, we have an open study. You know what I'm saying? It's something I'm studying personally. So it's pertaining to nationality and spirituality. Why it is important and how it is important. So it's just an open study. I'm using a few different references, such as the book known as Law Governs All Events, another book known as Powernomics. Also, a third, its name is the Tavistock Institute of Human Relations, shaping the moral, cultural, and spiritual society of America. Also, using the Quran, of course. So it's just an open study, and I have, compiled a few of my notes, and I just, read with me, and if you have any input as you feel. So with that, say Islam, amen, and let's get right into it. True and divine law. There is but one Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. So before we continue, just so we don't get too caught up in what someone calls the Most High, we'll just define the word Allah so everyone can see for themselves what Allah means. And Allah, it's an Arabic name for the supreme being. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Literally, the God. So what we in America using English would refer to God as God. Someone who is in Arabia or speaking Arabic, they would refer to God as Allah. So Allah is just God. There is one Allah, the author, the creator, the governor of the world, almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. He hath instituted laws for the government of the world. He hath wonderfully buried them in all beings, and each by his nature conform to his will. And this is the will of Allah. You know what I'm saying? So, as Moorish Americans, we are instructed to know thyself and Allah. This is the law. The Moorish science is also known as the knowledge of self, or the path or way of life. So, as it pertains to the law, we're going to take another gander at the etymology. Well, what is the law, and we're just going to use the. And to get to the root of the, we will add in this word known as theology, and we will break down theology as the prefix to the word is also the. It's just two words meaning the and ology. So theology is the science of religion, the study of God and his relationship to humanity. Philosophical study or Christian doctrine scripture, and directly related from Latin theologia, from Greek theologia, which means an account of God. This is from theos, and theos itself means God. So we can see right here, even though it doesn't give a definition for the, it gives a definition for theos, which is the prefix to theology, and theos means God. And so theology is basically just a study of God. So as and how that pertains to the law, right? We can see that the law is just God's law. So as Moorish Americans, we are instructed to know thyself and Allah, or the self, which is the God self, and Allah. This is the law. The science of Moorish science, also known as knowledge of self and or the path or way of life. And it says, all law is established in truth, which is holy breath. At Allah, as you can see, all law. Truth is that which changes not. And this is coming from Law Governs All Events. In the divine instructions for man, it is understood that in all the world, there are two things. The one is truth. The other is falsehood. And falsehood is that which seems to be. Now, truth is ought and has no cause. And yet it is the cause of everything. Falsehood is not, and yet it is the manifest of right. Whatever has been made will be unmade. That which begins must end. And this instruction in particular comes from the Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 7, ayat 4 through 7. And it is also known that man is truth and falsehood strangely mixed. Man is the breath made flesh. So truth and falsehood are conjoined in him, and they strive, and naught goes down, and man as truth abides. So in layman terms, it's basically saying anything that is not truth will not last forever. It's not everlasting. Only thing that is everlasting is the truth, which man really is, but he's strangely mixed with something that is not everlasting, such as, our physical bodies. We don't get to keep them forever. But the spirit which resides in them is that which is everlasting.
Islam, Noble. And when that verse pointed out where nothing goes down, but in man, but as truth abides, it's more or less saying the truth uh can never what you can say. It's it's always existing. Like it's the causeless cause, right? Like man, it's truth. Islam for that, no. That's
Yeah,
dope. Peace.
Islam, most definitely. I absolutely agree. That which has never been created, that which has always been around. You know what I'm saying? So I absolutely agree. And gratitude. And continuing on with the notes and the studying, I got to other parts of the document which state laws for civilized governments, their religions, science, philosophy are grown out of this force of nature and its natural development, constituted by a prophet of Allah, one sent to deliver the law and appoint those faithful to the truth, which is known as a trustee for the greatest development of its people to their highest potential, which is the nature of its source being truth. So they're basically saying all of these laws for civilized governments, all of the religions we've become accustomed to, all of the sciences that we know, all of the philosophies that we've heard have grown out of this force, which is the law, and the source being truth. And in essence, all true and divine laws come from Allah, which we know is just an Arabic word for God. And due to the divine nature of Allah, the laws from Allah to man are to guide, to instruct to a perfect state of being or being peace itself. It is the need for civilized man to develop ways and paths to better comprehend true law or the force, more comprehensively understood the will of Allah, and institute civilizations to harmonize with that will, i.e., more Science Temple of America, Divine and National Movement, the Kingdom of Heaven, or also the Burning Bush Tabernacle Science Temple and School. One was established by Khari Goodman Bey, another was established by Noble Drew Ali in 1913, by the will of Allah through his holy prophets. In the development of civilization, the will of Allah, which is love, truth, which is the law, is the law of all laws, and this is known as natural law. Natural law Natural law is existence as it is, being what it is, functions as it functions according to the laws which make it what it is. So natural law is just the given truth. It is the consistencies that make existence able to be what it is at all. So natural law is given truth. When the law begins to emerge in human consciousness, as Noble Alonzo eloquently read on last night, through observation and application of natural law, thoughts, thinking, words, deeds, or actions in natural order of evolution, you have what is the most fundamental of all human law. The most fundamental of all human laws is the law of economics, known to you and I as commercial law. Commercial law is the third law. It has to do with human survival, with human interaction of any kind, any relationship, buying, selling, trading, or relating in any way, which gave rise to the fourth law, or the moral law of the family. Definition of moral law: a general rule of right living, especially such a rule or group of rules conceived as universal and unchanging, as having the sanction of God's will, of conscience, of man's moral nature, or of natural justice as revealed to human reason. Next, which is overlooked in most societies when understanding the application of law, in its root is the law of the family, or the law of nations, or the law of one's forefathers, the law of one's vine and fig tree, which gave rise to the nations, states, or government laws to protect the family member against any people, nation, or another family member. So let's kind of take a pause and kind of, just observe and digest what we are reading. So when it speaks about laws of one's forefathers, and you apply it to the biblical scriptures. Give me a quick second. In the biblical scriptures themselves, it says, "Honor thy father and mother," which is the first commandment, with promise that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And also the laws of one's vine and fig tree. And when it's referring to vine and fig tree, let's have a few references of that as well. Vine and fig tree. Under their vine and fig tree is a phrase quoted in the Hebrew scripture in 3 different places: Micah 4:4, 1 Kings 4:25, and Zechariah 3:10. George Washington himself used this phrase multiple times in correspondence throughout his life, and one can find Washington's reference to it 50 times. Of the 3 paragraphs, it is most likely that he was citing Micah 4:4 in his writings. The section states, "But they shall sit under their own vine and fig, under their own vines, under their own fig trees, and no one shall be made afraid." So here are those biblical scriptures so you can see them for yourselves as it pertains to one's vine and fig tree. Micah 4:4 says, "But everyone shall sit under his vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken." Also, as it says in 1 Kings 4:25, "And Judah and Israel dwelt safely, every man under his vine and under his fig tree, from Dan even to Beersheba, all the days of Solomon." And also in Zechariah 3:10, and it says, "In that day declares the Lord of hosts, every one of you will invite his neighbors to come under his vine and his fig tree." So when you're looking at vine and fig tree, it's just basically saying that each with us being seeds and being fruit of a tree, you know what I'm saying, we have our own roots, we have our own trees, and we all are entitled as a family to have our own divine figure. You know what I'm saying? This is the vine and fig tree that we are to sit under, and no one shall be harmed, you know what I'm saying, for worshiping under their vine and fig tree.
Ooh, Noble.
Yes, sir.
Gratitude, Noble. Islam to that, Noble.
Gratitude.
Islam.
So we'll reread the passage, some of it from Law of Government All Events. Next, which is overlooked in most societies when understanding the applications of law, which we know all law comes from truth, all law being the law, and the being Theos, which is God. You know what I'm saying? So applications of law in its root is the law of the family, or the law of nations, or the laws of one's forefathers, the laws of one's vine and fig tree, which gave rise to the nations, or the state or government laws to protect the family member against any other people, which is nations or other family members. And we also have definitions for state and government as well, so we can, kind of further our understanding and kind of, open our eyes to some things.
Islam.
So a state is a people permanently occupying a fixed territory, together by common law, habits, and customs, into one body politic, exercising through the medium of an organized government independent sovereignty and control over all persons and things within its boundaries capable of making war and peace, and entering into international relations with other communities of the globe. And it also said in which it was Zechariah, if I'm not mistaken, where it said you would invite your neighbors to come under your vine and fig tree just so they can, know what it is you do. So in entering into international
Islam.
relations with other communities of the globe, a political unity concretely viewed, a state is a body politic possessing sovereignty. Any body politic possessing sovereignty is entitled to be called a state. So the laws of one's vine and fig tree, which gave rise to the nations, which are states or government laws to protect the family against any other people or nation, another family against another family member. The law of nations or international law may be defined as the body of rules and principles of action, which are binding upon civilized states in their relations with another one. Another way of seeing this is nationality is the order of the day, because your nationality is what ties you to your family or your vine and fig tree, and this is what's going to, protect you against harm from your own people or harm from other people.
Islam, no. So no, but could we also look at like vine and fig tree as that missing uh two pieces that considered us three, made us 3/5 of a person, meaning so vine and fig tree is also denotes our spirituality and our nationality. So that vine and fig tree is synonymous with our missing 2/5.
Mm. Now that's
Islam.
Islam. That's an interesting thought to interject.
That just thought to me when because you put it together, Noble. When you really laid it out right here when you were just saying about nationality being the order of the day, and when we talking about the vine and fig tree, those are that's what we miss. That's what we miss. So we got our body, mind, and spirit, if you will, right? But we don't have our nationality and our divine creed. That's that vine and fig tree.
And that's why we are supposed to honor our fathers, our forefathers, and our foremothers so our days can be long on earth plane. Because
Yes.
without it, they're going to get increasingly shorter and shorter.
Indeed.
But that was, like I said at the beginning, this is an open study. This is just something I'm studying. So anybody, this is any ideas that come to mind. You know what I'm saying? This is the place of, freedom and feel free to express. Because shoot, that was a great question.
Islam, no gratitude.
Yes, sir. The law of nations or international law may be defined as the body of rules and principles of actions which are binding upon civilized states in their relation with one another. Another way of seeing this is nationality is the order of the day. From this emerges government's common law. Common law emerged in England around 11 AD during the Dark Ages, as the Europeans called it. In reality, it was during Moorish rule of the lands of Albion that the law was being revealed until their renaissance, so as to lead the second half of the Kali Age until it was over with. Common law was developed to resolve disputes over allodial land boundaries. It is the law of the land. Common law gave rise to the jury system and writ processes, which monarchy governments have absorbed into their rulership and regulations, and rules made into statutes and processes in courts. Common law is valid to the extent that it does not conflict with commercial law. So, to kind of expound on, the law of the land and, the ideas that come with it the languages that come associated with it. I did some visual research, so I do have a small visual presentation for you. So just give me one quick second and just kind of listen to what the Empress is saying, and take it with a grain of salt, but, just keep an open mind and take the truth for what it is. And also let me know if you can hear the audio as I share.
Under great seal, we have the power to issue a ticket, which is Latin title. Under great seal, because you see, let's understand the power of a title. A title does not have power just because you have a piece of paper with some information on it, some names and stuff, and you sign it and go get it recorded with the county. That doesn't give it any power. It's just a mere piece of paper recorded with the county. What gives a title Islam? Its power is the government that stands behind it. What gives a title its power is the people who say, I'm under the jurisdiction of that government. If you have no government here, this means nothing. That's why for those people who call themselves stealing the titlers, the Diana David for a year and a half to write, took us a lot of hard work to come up with the language for that darn document, a lot of research. And then here they go running off and think they got something great and record one with the county. Then they thought, oh, we got a title recorded, now we can go seize the land because we have the title that says it's ours. Well, lo and behold, who in the hell is defending the darn thing? If that county says and that sheriff says you better not step on that property, what good is your title? It's null and void. It's null and void. Thank you. And some of this, for some of you who've been in the law class, you know what I'm about to show you. And I want to start off with I want to show you what's happening. First of all, let's talk about a duel, because everybody has heard this. What is a duel? Duel is short for duo L. So you have two L's fighting it out. A duel. Now most people think that a duel is you select your weapon, whether it be knife, gun, sword, and you turn your back to each other, right? How stupid is this? And you walk off 20 paces and turn around and you fight, right? Is that how a duel goes? If I'm wrong, let me know. We're talking about this.
Which one? The first one?
You
What's your correct?
I said, am I correct about how they say a duel? You turn your back, the one's behind you, you step off 20 paces, you turn around and shoot. Is that a duel?
I'm talking about what they play.
Look, I've seen 100 times on the record.
The guys with the tight hands and the lip wrist.
That's right. That's what they do. That's what they do. Smack up some blood and get all dressed up, right? And run and go at it, right? One fall dead.
I don't stand in the shoe.
Yeah, that's the dumb. Right. Somebody see that dumb. You're better for it. And look, you thought a duel was physical fight. It is not. The real word is duello. Duello is the Latin term. And And a duellum is a trial by, I have to write this word this way, but a trial by battle, see this is key, by battle or judicial combat. Huh? It says combat. Now, if a duel is a court battle, a duel is a trial, it's a court battle. What's key is this word battle, because they tell us that a battle is this, B-A-T-T-L-E. A battle.
Everything is physical.
Right, a physical war. Physical, like war. Physical engagement, right? But you see in the law dictionary, they didn't spell it that way. In the law dictionary, it is a battle. And it has a different definition. So y'all have to study the law dictionary. So what's going on here with these partitioning is battle. B-A-T-T-E-L. A battle is a trial by combat. Now, we're in a battle. We're in a battle. That's what's happening with us all the time. Every time we record a document, that is a battle. Every time we go to court, that is a battle. Every time we submit as a plaintiff, that is a battle. Every time we go in as a defendant, it is a battle. So, when George Washington lost the battle of Germantown, and he was forced to retreat to Valley Forge. You know the famous story. They ended up there in the ship was called no shoes, starving to death, all that kind of stuff like that. Up there in Valley Forge. He was forced to retreat to Valley Forge because he lost the battle of Germantown. What did he lose in Germantown? It was a court battle over something. What was the court battle of Germantown about? Land. Trying to get the people to sign what? Deeds. It didn't work. He was forced to go out to Valley Forge, which is far out there, and the people knew less. And what did he do out there in Valley Forge? He was able to recover. Then he went on to the battle of Trenton. What happened in Trenton? Did he get the people to sign? Did he get the people to sign deeds up there? Huh? Did he lose the battle of Trenton? Did George Washington lose the battle of Trenton? No.
So, with that now being known, let's reread what we've just read. From this emerges government's common law. Common law emerged in England around 1100 AD during the Dark Ages, as the Europeans called it. In reality, it was during Moorish rule in the lands of Albion that the law was being revealed until their renaissance, so as to lead the second half of the Kali Age until it was over with. Common law was developed to resolve disputes over allodial land boundaries. It is the law of the land. Common law gave rise to the jury systems and writs and processes which monarchy governments have absorbed into their rulerships and regulations, and rules made into statutes and processes in courts. Common law is valid to the extent that it does not conflict with commercial law. So just how she was saying that George Washington was going on all of these battles, which were basically like, court cases or battles in court over land to get people to sign titles or deeds, sign the land over. You know what I'm saying? So these are basically allodial land battles, and this is what is known as common law. And just as George Washington knows how to battle, he also knows about the vine and fig tree. You know what I'm saying? George Washington used this phrase multiple times in correspondence throughout his life. So from these, we get 5 echelons, hierarchical systems of law. We have the law, which is love. So love is equal to the law. And we have natural law, which is truth. So truth is equal to or greater than natural law. And we have commercial law, and peace is equal to or greater than commercial law. And we have moral law, and moral law is freedom, and freedom is equal to or greater than moral law. And we have the law of nations, and justice is equal to or greater than the law of nations. At a point of reference needs to be expressed for the adept Moorish thinker. The 5 hierarchy of law are in perfect oscillation with the 5 highest principles of law in Moorish jurisprudence, which is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And the 5 hierarchical systems of law are the law, natural law, commercial law, moral law, and the law of nations. So now let's deal with the natural person. The true 5/5 components of a natural person. And everything is based on the law, as we know. The spirit. The first component is the spirit, which is the indestructible God essence in man. And now these notes that I'm pulling from, this is coming from a book known as The Exhuming of a Nation. That was the book I couldn't think of, but that's the book I used in my notes, which was The Exhuming of a Nation. So the first 5th is spirit, which is the indestructible God essence in man. The second 5th is the soul, which is actions of the mind, of the mind's power. The mind's power are thinking, reasoning, willing, and understanding. And the third 5th is the body. And the body is defined as flesh, human vehicle made of earth, often indigenous to the land of birth. The 4th of the 5ths is nationality. And nationality is defined as the descendant birth attachment through an especial nation or tribe, free national name, lineage, identity. And the 5th of the 5/5 is the creed. And creed is defined as religious path of God consciousness established through forefathers, vine, and fig tree. Now, it should be kind of, for me, when I was studying, it was kind of coming full circle as I was studying these things and reading these things. So hopefully it's making a little sense to you all, because today we're really speaking on or focusing on the latter 2/5, which are nationality and spirituality, or what they call creed. You know what I'm saying? Nationality is defined as the descendant birth attachment through an especial nation or tribe or free national name, lineage, or identity. You know what I'm saying? This is your nation. This is, in your creed, which is your spirituality. And it's defined as a religious path of God consciousness established through your forefathers, vine and fig tree. And everyone shall be able to sit under their own vine and fig tree, and nobody should be harmed. It says that in Micah 4:4. You can read it for yourself. And it also says that in 1 Kings 4:25. And you are allowed to read it for yourself. And as it pertains to, common law and dealing with other families in other nations or internationally, you can read Zechariah 3 and 10 when it says, "In that day declares the Lord of hosts, every one of you will invite his neighbor to come under his vine and fig tree," for edification. You know what I'm saying?
Islam,
For wisdom,
Islam.
But everybody has their to be a complete and natural person, you must be composed of each one of these attributes to be a complete 5/5, which are
Or a whole
a whole
to
is
be a whole. We don't say 5.
yeah, to be a whole. Gratitude. Gratitude.
Islam,
Gratitude.
Islam, no.
And that's what being holy. That's holy right there.
Huh? That's
Come on.
holy.
So you have the first spirit, you have the soul, and you have the body. You have the latter 2/5 known as nationality and creed. So the lawful key. The laws of a government that are used to enslave and re-enslave can also be used to free the slaves. In 1865, the grandsons of European Masonic founding fathers legally brought forth on this continent a second new nation. The Congressional Manumission of the 13th Amendment abolishment of slavery brought this new nation into existence. The new nation then became one family, bearing one free national name. I hope it's clicking. They must proclaim their free national status before their government and the nations of the earth in order to be recognized as a clean and pure nation. Ooh, this is kind of fire. Because when you think about baptism and what it really is you're going down and coming back up clean and pure. You know what I'm saying? Then you must proclaim. You know what I'm saying? So therefore,
Right.
they cannot be citizens of a free national government while clinging to names that allude to slavery.
Mm.
The only lawful purpose of the 14th Amendment, ratified in 1868, 3 years later, is to spread assumable jurisdiction of the ex-slaves, agreeable to the then powerless Southern Europeans, to the courts throughout every state in the United States under the term all persons, meaning commercial property. Reinstituting the ex post facto slave labels of NBC, Negroes, Black and Colored, declared abolishment by the original 13th Amendment. The descendants of ex-slaves being held hostage by the dead badges of law, 14th and 15th, need only to proclaim their one true free national name to break the judicial bonds that Congress has given over them to corporate America, Equal to the knowledge of law, equal to the knowledge of self is the law.
Mm. Mm. So I actually was seeing now how we could be classified as a strange and a peculiar people.
Mm-hmm.
When as the author here brings out the fact that the Congressional Manumission, which abolished slavery of the 13th Amendment, created a new nation. So out of that, you have a rich and spoiled people. This is now like I'm getting like now to like contemporary times, like when I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about scripture, and I'm thinking about how all what you're saying is coming full circle, like you said. So these terms we need to really read and understand them, and really like record them to memory. Because when she always talk about, do you know about the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment? Do you know about manumissions? Do you know about the indigenous rights of the rights of indigenous people? The a 180 form, 181 form. These things, like all of this is ping, 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 and every time when you going through all of this, and I'm like, man, man,
because how can
gratitude.
you say, it's like the more you know, the more you grow, and when you start seeing things or things are being revealed unto you, it's almost like, they be mind blowing and breathtaking. And then that's like how she say that light bulb come on, and then that's when you get that zeal and you that fire, and you just want to tell everybody and explain, and it would be powerful.
But in a moment, Noble, in the twinkling of an eye, that's how it happens. And then when it land on you like that, it becomes so simple as far as the recollection or the conscious awareness of it. Almost like, how did I miss it? And at times, that's why the patience also needs to come when we share things with truth, or with love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, because that light sometimes can be a bit bright, and people will shut down, right, and not really receive it, if you will, like they should. But nonetheless, we still have to keep on where we are guided to do, and things of that nature. But one thing also that stuck out too, when you hit on in the paragraph above, when it's talked about that they must proclaim. I've had questions before in my walks where people say, well, what's this whole thing about proclaiming it? Why there's a need to proclaim? You just are who you are. But clearly they know no law, because that's what it's all tied into. It's just, you are who you are. Like when you can, what your mother made you. Whereas no man can change your descendant nature, right, from God, unless what? His powers is above the great God, right? But when we talking about, as you demonstrating eloquently with a silver tongue, nationality and law, when we talk about that now goes into a realm where you now have to be recognized among the nations, right? That's different than, okay, so you're going to be put back on the stage, if you will, in the affairs of men, as our prophet Noble Joe Ali declared. And there's a whole process in that, but that part of proclaiming there signifies that there was a point in time where, listen, you now was written out of law, or not even, as we just demonstrated, considered to be a full human being. So gratitude. With that, I say Islam.
Islam, because one thing that we, have to realize is that the divine comes first. And that's why most times we don't really relate to law, because we don't see the divinity in what law really is.
Yes.
A lot of time we have been, jaded, and think that the law we associate, I know I have associated the law with the negative connotation of a policeman, and that's not what law is. You know what I'm
saying? That's so powerful, Noble. You right. We have been jaded when it comes to law, and embracing law, if you will, because it's always seemed like it's against us. So that has an emotional attachment to it, which a lot of things really isn't emotional. Right? There's no excuse for not knowing the law in the court of law. So it's kind of like it's real dry.
Not knowing the law. Come on.
It's real dry, like over there. It's no data boys, right? It's no pat on the backs over there, man. You listen, this is law. It's all law. And law governs all events. So that's why we gotta watch how we navigate.
Yes, sir.
Gratitude, man.
Islam, because what is it? Because the divine comes first. So if we understood that and knew that we was divine, and we would see how the divine came even before the law. The divine is what established the law. And right here in the Moorish Holy Quran, when you read, it says that there is but one Allah, meaning there's but one law once you get further into the reading. The author, the creator, the governor of the world, the Almighty, eternal, and incomprehensible. He hath instituted laws for the government of the world. You know what I'm saying? Not just the government of a nation, not just the government, but for the government of everything in the universe. There is a law that governs that. You know what I'm saying? That is the divine. And we connotate everything because things we understand so well would be like the church, the scripture, you know what I'm saying, the temple, all of those things. And we very seldomly equate that with the divinity of law. You know what I'm saying? So we understand the divine, but we have been separated, or we have been made to think that there is no connection between the law and that which is divine. But the divine is what comes first, and everything comes after that, including the law.
Islam. Islam. Because that made me even think of the term that most of us use when we try to connotate man's law with God's law. We say the separation of church and state. That's a phrase, a familiar phrase. But in the more deeper into what you're speaking about, Noble, I actually see what you're saying. Gratitude for that demonstration.
Islam, equal to the knowledge of self, is the law. The essence of the word chattel is cattle. Cattle, farming of humans in America from its African imports and traders, are historically known as slavery. Chattel slavery. Slavery itself is not new to the nations of the earth. In fact, at one time, every nation had suffered slavery due to the fact they honored not the creed and the principles of their forefather. And see, the reason that can happen to any nation if they don't honor their forefathers. Why? Because you're not protected by your vine and fig tree or your law of the nations. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
If you're not under your own vine and fig tree, and you don't have your that obviously kind of removes you, or is a precursor to removing you from your nationality. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So Islam nobles. I want to bring up something.
Yes, sir.
If it, if y'all can make any connections to it. So when we say vine and fig tree, and then when we also say, and we understand the separation of that from the other fifths, the other parts. But do we think there's a connection between vine and fig tree and just church and state? State meaning just like, the state of mind, consciousness, different things. And then, church as far as just that order, basically. When we say vine and fig tree and church and state. If either of you or anyone else, if we could make any connections between that and how we say, oh yeah, we, separation of church and state, and obviously what the Moors lost here as far as, our vine and fig tree and nationality and creed. Can we make any connections with that?
I mean, I guarantee if we do further research, something will come up.
Right.
As far as right off the bat, I see the connection between with the wording, but as far as like actual concrete connections, I would have to do more research.
Researching that.
Islam.
So Islam, though. So did you hear also we went into the we were pulling into something else you mentioned. Yeah, so like the nationality and the divine creed as part of being synonymous as well with the
vine and
fig tree. Yeah.
Islam.
Yeah. That was definitely something
that made a lot of sense.
Dropped in my spirit. I know what was reading that. Yeah. Islam.
So I mean, because when I look at the word vine and fig tree, and the vine is just the cord that connects. You know what I'm saying? So
that's that legacy, right? That lineage.
That's when you listen to like the phonetics of our tongue and how we speak. Divine and divine or divine sound exactly the same. So divine is the divine connection. You know what I'm saying? The fig or the figure can be how can you say a parable in the sense of a person coming in the shell with that embodies the spirit of the divine coming to give you the law, what they known as that's known as a prophet. You know what I'm saying? Because a prophet is what a thought of Allah manifested in the flesh. So it takes the divine figure who is divine, who has that connection to the divine, so that is, you know, a part of that vine.
Islam, noble.
And come and bring, because you look at a fig is just a fruit, but the fruit is on the inside of a shell. You know what I'm saying?
I can see that.
So when so symbolically and as far as like as far as metaphysically or metaphorically, divine and fig tree to me, and from my research and intuition, is just, you know, the divine we connected to, and the figures we supposed to be, or the figures that we know that are we look up to as our prophets or our lawgivers.
I can see that, man. Islam, the things though, when you're talking about both of these things are connected to the soil, right? When you think about that, and that absolutely ties you back into consanguinity. It ties you back into being connected and being what because the soil, what they call it's fecunds, it's fecundication, right? There's a growing, if you will, a nurturing, if you will, that when we read in the Moorish Holy Quran, that one mother's breast has given you all suck.
Yeah. Like
that divine, that vine and fig tree, where there is really no separate, like there is no natural separation to that of a people naturally.
Come on.
But then there comes complications, and then, you know, where we become injured as a people, and we fall victim when what we leave that, just as Noble is bringing about, like all people, it is written when they honor the ancient mothers and fathers, they all suffer slavery, like they all go, you know, it's just written. And that vine and fig tree is that I could say, as Noble said, it's that divine connection to your birth and your natural state of living. Islam.
And that's why, you know what I'm saying, because when you're not honoring your forefathers and your foremothers, you know what I'm saying, and you're stepping away from that vine and fig tree, and it's like when you don't know them, it's like you're getting away from knowing yourself, and that's why it says to know self is the law. You know what I'm saying? Because knowing self will put you back into that protection. You know what I'm saying?
And no, when you just said that, went right back to the Moorish Holy Quran, and we travel. We travel through cycle ages. Like, you know, the mind never does forget.
Come on.
You know what I mean? So it just takes some, you know, we just take some re-engineering. Islam.
Slavery is and has always been a divine issue, and is the Father's way of punishing his disobedient child nations. These holy spankings usually last from 40 to 400 years, according to sacred records of the human family. Now, also, Dante, as you know, even though they say it's a separation of church and state, that's kind of illusionary. There really is no separation of church and state. And the same thing between the spirit or the vine and the fig tree. It may seem to be of a separation, but it's really all interconnected. Today, Muslims in the East still believe in and also practice slavery, mostly on Sudanese, even though they should have had enough practice selling their brothers of African and Islamic descent to the Europeans. Officially in 1492, without Islamic support, the Moors lost their 800-year stronghold on Spain and Italy and ended up here in the colonies. The Moors of Africa, from Hannibal until 1492, amalgamated with Europeans on the Italian peninsula, so much so they created two new nations of people. These sons of Moors are known to this day as Italians and Sicilians.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any wonder why we still love pizza? Why do you think, who do you think taught them how to cook, take baths, and go to school? Anyway, back to the Americans.
You know
Human
what?
chattel. I'm sorry, Nova, you said something?
No, no, sir. I didn't say anything.
Okay. Human chattel farming was based upon some techniques as any other herds of cattle. Common slave herders quickly became slave masters at breaking the conscious backs of the Moors. They broke the conscious backs of the Moors in order to make them slaves. That
Indeed.
that was
Indeed.
key in understanding some parts of slavery, right? So
Mm.
cattle, regardless of which livestock, are bred, fed, and harvested for their value to their owners. The value of Moors was the institution of slavery. To secure slave labor, the masters would embed fear and hopeless dependency into the young and yet born where knowledge would want to be. The young were forbidden to learn their history of knowledge of self. And that in itself can remove you, you know what I'm saying, from the knowledge of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. That can remove you from your own vine and fig tree because you're not doing things pertaining to your vine and pertaining to your divine figure. You know what I'm saying? So it says the young were forbidden to learn the history of the knowledge of self. And to know self is to know the law.
Mm. No, that right there was just that even going into the math of the day.
Mm.
Supreme math. Day's mathematics is 9. Be or born, right?
Ooh.
That honestly breaks down. We could use the math of the day. Because look, if you can never learn about yourself, right? That really means you never there's no you can never be born. It's you can't complete the cipher.
Come
You know
on.
what I mean? So that's powerful, no?
Come
Be
on.
a born. Be is to be, right? Right? You be because you becoming something, right?
Come on.
So all that whole journey is becoming. So like we can't find a missing link, always seeming to be at the right place, but seemingly at the wrong time. These things, like becoming, right? But you never could be what? Born, which means to be complete or born complete because you don't know yourself.
Come
So
on.
this is a challenge. It is a tragedy and at the same time an opportunity for us as we, by the grace of Allah, stand before you as the BBT. And this is a resurrection. With that, I say Islam.
Islam. Islam.
Long.
To secure slave labor, the masters would embed fear and hopeless dependency into the young and the yet born, where knowledge would, come on now, Noble, into the yet born,
Come
where
on.
knowledge would want to
Peace.
be. The young were forbidden to learn their history or knowledge of self. Take away the memory of anything, and it loses all motivation, direction, value, and purpose. Man with no knowledge of national descent or divine origin falls to the level of the animal or other weaker manifests. So, as it pertains to, slavery and embedding fear into the youth so that they forget themselves, I just want to provide a little, how can you say, just a little perspective, you know what I'm saying? A little visual perspective, just something to consider. So I do have another video for you. Give me one quick second and I'll present that. And take everything with a grain of salt. Know that it's all for love and edification. But yet and still, everyone shares and express in their own way.
If I just agree, but So a lot of the leaders or the wise ones of the so-called tribe or so-called beehive, they was killed off. So they didn't get a chance to teach the youth, pass the message on. So we used to believe messages orally. And we left messages in songs and psalms and stuff like that. So a lot of messages and a lot of history got twisted up, and it was done on purpose. Because when you're going to war and stuff, who's going to teach the children? They come in and kill off the elders. Who's going to teach the children? So then they can implement any kind of education they want to give you until you came from here, you came from there. So the children of the ones grew up and think they came from somewhere else. And it's all fake knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So now let's look at this. When you got this group of people, let's just pay down sounds. See, because they wasn't slaves, I told you this stuff. See, the cotton movement started in the 1800s, really, right? See, when the Moors was over there in Europe and everything else, right, they dressed nicely. Stuff, they had cotton clothes and all that good stuff. So the New Age 7 royal families that's in power today, we call them like the Queen of Windsor Castle, which I told you was a Nazi, but not just come out in 1933. She was a Hitler. Just came out. I told you this, but you didn't hear it though. Vatican Nazis, you didn't hear it though. See, everything got twisted upside down. So you think about the swastika, but the swastika is the wheel, the Ezekiel wheel of life, and it spins in 4 different ways. But you ain't heard nothing yet because you thought the swastika was Nazi, and it's the Ezekiel wheel of life. You ain't heard nothing yet, baby. So dealing with these ones that was left in charge of had property and stuff in so-called Mississippi or Alabama or Georgia or Kentucky, wherever they had so-called slavery acts. You can have property. You can have, like in Africa, you can have a lot of land. All this property. You ain't got no money. You ain't got no wealth. You got land, but what is you going on your property? When you don't have no farming skills to grow no crops, how you gonna survive? Yeah, I don't hear me do you? See, trickery's deep. So when you got people going to war, and then after the war is over, you got some people get confused on who they are, and you still got some free man Moors out here that like they don't get about that war stuff. You know what I mean? Because they deal with the Sultan. You know what I mean? Because they don't deal with the kings and queens. We deal with the Sultan of Morocco. You know what I mean? Because who sits over in Morocco right now is a king. He works for Rome. He's not the Sultan. You know what I mean? There hasn't been enough the Sultan since. You know what I mean? But people think they got knowledge. You know what I mean? Play with these people. You got land. You got property. But you can't grow nothing. So here comes the swindler. See, when everybody's going to war, you have the so-called Jew swindler going around into the neighborhoods, and they get them a do boy, bring like a little boy back home from Spain that can grow some crops and teach. You're gonna be my do boy to talk to them in Hebrew or whatever like that, and you get them saying, man, we're gonna plant some crops on your property. So they plant crops on their property, and the Europeans say, hey, look, boy, I'm gonna share the profit with you. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you a couple of dollars up front, some coins up front. So that's sharecropping, which came to be slavery. It was sharecropping. So the Negro got some little, so-called Negro got some little dirty bird, got some little money now. So now he got some money to go down to the little store and trade goods and get some of the things he needs. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't growing no food. See, if he would continue growing food, they would have bartered with each other. Like TLC was trying to get people to barter with each other. But see, they lost the ability to barter and farm and share with their neighbors like it's supposed to be done. So here comes this man in. Next thing you know, he got the deeds to his home. Matter of fact, hey man, since I'm running this show here with all my cotton crops and everything, y'all got to get out the big house and go out there to the back house with the food and stuff like that, because you work for me now. It's your property, but you don't forget because you illiterate. You don't speak the English language, you just signed a contract. Sharecropping. And you're getting just a share of the crops between him and getting that. And you're still saying to yourself, you don't know that, you don't know that better. And then they come up with another idea, say, let's trade them around a little bit, like trading places around. So you take kind of farmer John house, go to farmer da. So now you got traded around, the families get this stuff and everything, and you don't even know nothing now. Now here it is 100 years later. Ain't even 100 years later, from 1802 to like 1865, some style waking up and all this kind of bullcrap. They end up like so-called slavery, and them gave this word called slavery, which is servitude in your own goddamn land with sharecropping. Y'all ain't heard nothing I ones who let their property be sharecropped saw crazy things happen at nighttime because they saw sorcery. They ain't know what the hell was that. They saw some people getting taken in the dark, getting the blood sucked out of them. So a lot of them started running into the woods, getting the hell, man, we gotta get the hell away. They started trying to run up north. They started trying to run here and there. They wasn't running from no goddamn no so-called masters running with a whip. Motherfucker running from demons that they saw. Because demons was released in 1492. Them demons got stuck coming on the earth. Y'all ain't heard me that, did y'all? Go look up you. They try to give you little hints in that movie about Abraham Lincoln that's fighting them demons and stuff. They try to give you some hints, but y'all ain't hear that part. Go ask an old person. I talked to a 90-year-old grandma and stuff. She said, hey man, that was about dead people. Some evil stuff out here. I said, I know, grandma. I know. They just told her. Grandma broke it down and told the truth. She was born in the 1920s.
So, as it relates to, how they kind of took the minds of the youth and kind of twisted up the history and made things seem or made falsehoods out of what the truth really was. You know what I'm saying? And that was, just one of those things they fed the illiterate youth to make them think something else so they couldn't really remember who they were. So the young were forbidden to learn their history or knowledge of self. Take away the memory of anything and it loses all motivation, direction, value, and purpose. Man with no knowledge of national descent or divine origin falls to the level of an animal and other weaker manifests. Man, spirit man, was given a soul to function on the plane of soul where things are made of thought. Thinking, reasoning, willing, understanding, and remembering are the actions of the soul, commonly known by man or psychologists as the mind. These are divine tools given to the man from his creator. They did not come from the earth. Therefore, the earth can never claim their return. Chattel slavery specialized in altering these actions or these tools. And remember, these tools were thinking, reasoning, willing, understanding, and remembering. These are the actions of the soul. So they began altering these tools to do the whim of the quote-unquote slave master. This is what made chattel slavery unique and satanic, because it left a person very void of himself. Just think of yourself and tell anyone, where would you go if you suddenly could no longer remember where you had been? See how important your identity is. Noble Drew Ali constantly told the Moors to think Moors. Think. If I can only get you to think, you would save yourselves. The soul of man will seek out the truth, even to the ends of the universe. So although no one has the power to rid man of these actions of the soul, man can have the course of his mind to be altered. If it has been socially altered by systematic powers of man, it is also known as brainwashing. Still, the soul remains perfect, even in the bosom of a fool. Although a fool he is, the mind still functions. But to what good is it to the fool? This is why he keeps right on beginning just to start over, beginning just to start over, beginning again and again, etc. Islam. So I know we've been on here for a while, probably like an hour and 20 minutes to be exact. Once again, it's just an open study of why nationality and spirituality is important and how it is important. You know what I'm saying? Because in order to be considered a whole person, you have to have 5/5. You have to have a spirit, a soul, a body, a nationality, and a creed, or a spirituality. So, if anyone have any anything to add, or
Islam. Well, I was just gonna say, it's an on-time message for sure. So gratitude for presenting the message to today, Noble, with the elections just taking place, and it just brings us back to with everything that's going on. We need to understand exactly the source and what all of this means. So this type of message and the information and wisdom that we presented today is helpful for ourselves and those who are tuned in. You just have to continue to tap in and study the information, particularly with a group. And then you start to understand through application of this information. So gratitude to Islam, Noble.
Islam, most definitely. Group study is one of the better parts of studying, especially for me with the BBT and you brothers. You know what I'm saying? So Islam to that.
Wow.
Noble Alonzo, did you have any closing remarks?
No, I couldn't have said it any better. Noble Don said summed it up. Gratitude, gratitude, and gratitude for the demonstration, Noble.
Islam and gratitude. So we're here every Saturday. Our Saturday Adept class starting at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time, 9 o'clock AZ time, or 10 o'clock AZ time. So we will continue to study next weekend, same time, same place. But before we get out of here, we will indulge in our Moorish American prayer and also our benediction by Noble Alonzo, right, babe? So without further ado, Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, Shalom Alakim, Ayah Ash'ayah, Hotel Islam. Amen. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace, peace. Fateh's benediction reads as follows. May the benison of Allah be upon thee and thine always, as thou shouldst strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thine acts of love upon thy brethren, and do the best to shun thine evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that you might nourish the souls of men. Let truth be the shield in the manifest battles of falsehood. Know that Moors need not to pick the locks of the gates of paradise by the means of petty or criminal theft, for behold, the key to salvation already rests within thine own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there still is the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Haq, Ya Muhammin. And at the BBT, when we say Al-Haq, that's Arabic and it stands for the truth. And when we say Ya Muhammin, that's Arabic as well and stands for the protector. We at the BBT see ourselves as truth protectors. And we cast our net out to all true and divine light seekers to come and join on to us. For the truth has no sides. For the truth is one, as man is with Allah. And with that, we say peace and love. Islam.
Peace, peace,
Peace, peace, peace,
Islam.
peace, peace, peace,
Islam.
peace, peace,
Peace,
peace,
peace,
peace,
peace,
peace,
peace.
peace, peace,
Peace, Nobles.
peace.
Peace and love.
Peace and love, family.
peace and love.
Gratitude, Noble. Take us out.
Gratitude.
Yes, sir.
mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z.
Once again, this broadcast is brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with the Z, where reading funds the mental. Also brought to you by bindedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Be sure to check out my Aunt Son's Teas, Divine and Prepared, the Tea of Teas at herbsofmyaunt.com. Don't be shy. Check out those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Bay at bhbaymusic.com. And for your everyday items and religious regalia, take a stop by morrishaberdasher.com. And for that everyday especial Morris drip, check out morrisachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. Design your online business strategy today.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of meager means. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dreams. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't. Really, it ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun, it's an everyday theme. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at